G'day, Morton from Oslo here. No, there's not an Oslo outside of Coffs Harbour, mate. Why am I doing this? Well, this is a video that is one of those videos where my record purchases have been inspired by a member of the vinyl community, and as is often the case when it's not Steve Carlson, it's Ben Rankins from Melbourne in Australia. But I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story that I haven't really had a reason to tell, which is not really connected to Australia or Norway. It was, what was this, back in, I think it was back in 2010 or 12, and I was in South Africa, South Africa, and I was staying with my friend Donovan, and he used to live in what used to be a small town between Pretoria and Johannesburg, Joburg, which has since become incorporated. It's actually called Halfway House because it used to be halfway between Pretoria and Johannesburg, where people could water their horses and things like that. But we drove all the way from there to Durban, down on the coast there on the Indian Ocean, which was my opportunity to have seen the Indian Ocean as well. And we drove, and we stayed with his aunt down in Amanzimtoti or Toti. It's west or southwest on the coast there from Durban, and we looked at various places, but I can't remember why. But we decided, or he wanted me to see a coastal town, like a vacation spot, quite a drive away from Durban and Amanzimtoti. Called Margate, yes, Margate of South Africa. And we drove, and just outside of Umkomaas, I think it was, I'm trying to see the map here. Outside of Port Shepstone. We're driving along the road there, and we see a sign, telling us that we were entering a small village or town that was called Oslo Beach. And obviously, I was really fascinated by this. Donovan didn't know about this place, so could we stop so I can take a photograph of the sign? And we did, and I was standing there clicking, and a little bit of the area around. And my theory was that this must have been a place where some Norwegian whalers or something like that got washed on shore and ended up staying there and named it Oslo Beach. Later on, I found out that this area had actually, the South African government had tried to attract Norwegians to come settle here. They wanted carpenters and shipbuilders from Norway to settle here, and they attracted apparently quite a few, and gave them plots of land. So hopefully they would do some farming, and then also set up shop and start building ships. And the Norwegians, I think, stayed there for a while. And, didn't stay that long, and then they didn't like it, apparently. Because I recently saw a program where some Norwegian travelers visited the place, and they filmed, and they showed us that several of the streets were still named after Norwegian towns, like Bergen Street and Trondheim Avenue or whatever. But they fucked off to Australia and back to Norway and stuff, most of them. So I'm standing there taking these photographs of the streets of the towns name and all that. And I see this older, elderly white woman walking up towards me along the side of the road there, and I could see she's looking at me rather inquisitively. So I say probably something, hello, hoe gaan dit met jou? Ik kom af Norway af. And I get no response. Because not all white people in South Africa speak Afrikaans, or want to even. So I point at the sign and I say in English, I'm from Oslo, Norway. And she looks at me and, oh, you have one too, do you? And then she keeps walking. Oh my God! I hope she's not a geography teacher. I thought, and I sat in the car, and Donovan says, "What did she ask you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm from Oslo, and I'm from Oslo in Norway." And she responded, "Oh, you have one too?" And he started laughing and banging his head on the steering wheel. So, yeah, that's education for you, I suppose. The reason I'm making this video today is because I bought some records, which I shouldn't have, and I'm blaming Ben Rankins. No, I'm not blaming Ben Rankins, but here's the inspiration and the source of this. And one of the records is something he talked about very recently, and then it popped up on my local record shop YouTube channel, the Big Dipper, that they had gotten 2 records by an Australian band, which is considered to be like a proto punk band. And they're from a town where not a lot of Australian music that I own or am aware of they come from Brisbane in Queensland, and like I said, it's not a town in Australia, a city in Australia that I'm spent that much time. Was it Muriel's wedding? From nearby, one of those Gold Coast or whatever you call it areas there. Well, I can't remember. But anyway, I didn't get their debut album, because I went there today to look for 2 records. One of them is not in this video, and actually a record from the Saints. Yeah, and would have I grabbed the debut or would I have grabbed this one? I'm not sure, but they didn't have the debut. They had their second album, which, to be honest, is the one that sort of intrigued me when I saw the cover. So, Prehistoric Sounds by the Saints. I have not gone online and listened to them and stuff like that. I trust Ben and his taste in music, which very often aligns with mine. So, yeah. Even more music. I shouldn't have, but yeah. I'm trying to sort of, because I'm going away in May for the whole duration of the month, well, from the 5th of May until about the 2nd of June, I'm sort of overcompensating for that now, maybe. I don't know. We all need an excuse. So, like I said, this one is from 1978. Yeah, I think their debut album was from 1974. So that's very sort of early, but from what I've learned, they are like, the sort of I don't know, grandfathers or the initiators of music of that type in Australia. Maybe that's overstating something, or I don't know, but proper inner sleeve as well. And there's a version of those colours I have not seen before. This is usually a Harvest logo, isn't it? Or label, but here it's Parlophone. That's really cool. And it's music on vinyl release. Good old black vinyl there. Looking very much forward to getting to know these guys. I know the guys at Big Dipper, when they show these, were talking them up a lot. And the other album that I bought, I remember he talked about back last year sometime. And I think one of the reasons is because he had gotten this reissue, which is a 50th anniversary edition. And I was sold not only because Ben was talking about this, but because of the art on the record. So this is Living in the 70s by Skyhooks. And I did not expect to find this today. I wouldn't have if this record was actually placed right in front of the Saints record in the bin for various bands beginning with the letter S. So yeah, this is I love this artwork. I really do. And yeah, a band which has had, if I understood it correctly, a lot of iterations, but this is sort of the classic period, or did I remember incorrectly? These guys, of course, or Ben wouldn't have lit up and looked almost happy when he talked about them, are from Melbourne. So, yeah. So many good things from Melbourne, like Melbourne Bitter and Kylie, obviously. Pie Floater. Here we are. And as Ben stated in a video with everyone's Brian of Embryonic Robot, Melbourne, he said, has surpassed Sydney in population. So I thought, well, I better check that, because he also said, but Melbourne and Sydney are smaller than Toronto. And I was like, is it though? And yes, they are. Not by much, mind. But yeah, according to the freshest thing that I read, there are now 19,000 more people in Melbourne than in Sydney. So that was something I expect Sydney folks are either being fashionably aloof about, or cursing all the way and shouting to people over in Parramatta that they need to have more children or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, living in the 70s. Whatever happened to the revolution? It says Bellwin calling. Is it Bellwin or Belgian? I assume it's not a Welsh W. Horror movie. You just like me because I'm good in bed. Carlton, Ligon Street Limbo, Turak Cowboy, Smut. Hey, what's the matter? Motorcycle bitch even. Oh, bloody hell. And there's the gatefold, which for some reason immediately made me think of the Kinks. So let's have a look at this. Yeah, so it's funny because I went online to look for another Australian band that I listened to, which I'm also 100% sure Ben got me interested in, but I can't find anyone who sells it who's not some Australian online shop. It's not always sending your money away to some purveyor of records on the other side of the planet that you've never bought from before. What was it the band called? Terry's? I'll do that. Oh, look, it's got a mushroom, and here's one of those inners we have to replace. And luckily I just bought a whole bunch of them. I don't like these. So there's the old mushroom. label there. I might have said this earlier about another record. Is this my first proper old mushroom label, or is this now my second? I'm not sure. Probably a Split Ends record that I got earlier last year or something like that. So yeah, that was my new records from, well, or indirectly, they're probably pressed closer to home, Australia, inspired by Ben Rankins, and a little story from a rather odd place in South Africa, thrown in for good measure because I'm from Oslo, and that was the joke that I tried to do at the beginning of the video. Anyway, guys, it's one of the weekdays before Easter, Wednesday. Yeah, I hope you have a nice Easter, spring holiday type thing here in Norway or Scandinavia. We don't call it Easter, we call it påske, or in Swedish påsk, or Danish påske, which I assume is lent from the word Pesach. And weather is grey and wet, but I still went out and bought some records. There you have it. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you want to click like, that helps my channel. If you want to subscribe, that makes me happy. And I want to give a shout out to all my new subscribers lately. Love the comments. Love that you're on board. Hopefully you want to watch some videos, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.